Hey everybody, Flamer here, coming at you with a video series discussing the events that happen inside of the anomaly in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies we call the Dark Aether. In this series I will be talking about all the monsters, weapons and more that happened within the Dark Aether, introducing you all to the Dark Aether files. In our first episode we shall be talking about the survivor inside of the Dark Aether, the Stranger. For those who do not know, the Stranger is a person who sends us all the Dark Aether intel, like his diary, pages via the use of the trial machine in every zombies map and outbreak mode. The Stranger started to write a diary of sorts and started transmitting him on day 13,773 inside of the Dark Aether. Day 13,773. Keyboard finally functional, screen still hit or miss. Must retest internal components, make sure nothing is fried. Still not sure if this thing is transmitting. At least I graduated from pen and paper, which are harder and harder to come by. Will continue transmission attempts. Have plenty to broadcast. My journal of survival. I can only hope someone is listening. The Stranger starts sending us, after completing an intel trial in the trial machine, either an audio log, a cipher or a diary page talking about his encounters in the Dark Aether. The Stranger talks about what is happening inside of the Dark Aether over the course of time and what has changed in the meantime via intel. These intel can be audios of lost souls being damned in the Dark Aether, either slowly dying from an infection from the Dark Aether crystals, or being chosen by the One. We will talk more about the Dark Aether and the One in later videos, but for now, let's focus on the survivor who has been stuck for decades. Beginning Cold War's pre-season, we have been getting Dark Aether intel over the course of time, collecting them from trial machines inside each map. When completing certain trials, you get a reward, but there's also the intel trial. We learn later on in Season 2 Reloaded that the Stranger has been sending us intel as a way to see if he can trust the player and if we can trust him. He does this with the use of the trial machine. That is how he is commuting, sort of, with us by sending us intel as a reward for completing his challenges, but also rewards like power-ups, Hurricanes, weapons, salvage and wonder weapons. The Stranger has been stuck in the Dark Aether for a long time, until day 13,773 when he started to place the trial machines all over the world to see our progress. Day 13,784. Very big development today. I passed through another weak spot and found a device set to frequency I use for broadcasts. My previous transmissions were right there on screen. No longer feel like I am talking to the void. When I got pulled back here, I set my transmitter to indicate if receiving device has been used. Waiting now for any sign that someone is on the other end. Feels strange after all this time, having something to look forward to. After gaining his trust, the Stranger starts to send the player more personalized messages asking how we are doing and if these messages are arriving. Hello? You're receiving my messages, yes? I lost hope anyone was out there. My friend, whoever you are, keep checking in. Must go now, but we'll contact you soon. This is the first time when playing Die Maschine that we actually see some live messages coming from the Stranger. He is hesitant about the connection and is playing it safe. The player just has to wait for the further contact along the road. The next time the player hears from the Stranger again is when completing trials inside of the map Firebase Z. My friend! Glad you are back. Though surely you would rather be elsewhere. I know that feeling all too well. Trapped over here for so long. I want to share more of my journal with you, to help you understand what I have been through, to prepare you for what you now have to face. I will contact you soon with more. He shares with us the remaining diaries he has over what seems to be 6,000 days of knowledge and experience of the Dark Aether. Since we certainly do not know how time works in the Dark Aether, one can only speculate how he has managed to know what time and day it is, since the Dark Aether is a purple and dark place where it always looks like night, as we see in Die Maschine, and when entering a holdout and outbreak. When surviving in the Dark Aether, the Stranger manages to find survivors on day 175. Day 175. There are others here, trapped like me. I avoid them. No time for their madness or sorrow. They usually get picked off before long anyway. We are low on the food chain here. Creatures prowl this place, so I avoid them too. They can be killed, but gunshots attract more, so discretion, better part of valor. Still have food stockpiled, but cannot last forever. Eventually I will be forced to hunt, and nothing looks remotely edible yet. The survivors, together with the stranger, start building a transmitter to communicate with the outside world. Sadly, we do not know if the survivors he worked with survived, since none of them are being mentioned later on in his diaries. After more than 100 days and a deadly encounter on day 213, the stranger manages to get a safe haven on day 291. Day 291. Completed base of operations. Took forever to gather tools and materials. But at last my little fort is secure. Stockpiled weapons, placed barricades, found components for traps in case creatures come too close, electric spikes in doorway, gas pipes that shoot flames, and so on. Worried a human may wander into one of them, perhaps should make warning signs. First time since I arrived that I feel safe. At last I can sleep soundly. It's been a while since the stranger actually wrote a diary report after day 291, but on day 937 the stranger manages to scavenge a lot of electronics, helping him in his aid for survival. But he also finds something else. Day 937. Gathered lots of electronics. No success constructing transmitter. Some gear seems very old. Other components unlike any I've ever seen. Wish I could find some instruction manual. Also, finding shimmering weak spots, where this world seems to overlap with home. Attempted to pass through, but could not. Still, caught a glimpse of what looked like Southeast Asia. So close, yet out of reach. Must keep trying. After messing around with the shimmering weak points, the stranger seems to be able to return to our world. But only for like 10 to 15 seconds, as we can read on day 1108. Day 1108. Attempts to pass through weak spots yielding limited results. Managed to lengthen glimpses of home into brief visits. Location is different every time. A jungle, a village, a glacier. I wander unseen like a ghost. 10 or 15 seconds. Then pulled back here. If I could only get someone to see me. If I could only ask for help. The stranger reports on day 1646 that he saw a giant walking monster, which the survivors inside of the Dark Aether call the Elder Gods. These Elder Gods, it is not known how many or what they are, but the first time we can actually see one is in Die Machine on a high round as an Easter egg. This is, as we know from Firebase C when completing the main quest or reaching round 30, an Orda, a big tall monster that resides in the Dark Aether, but suddenly appears in front of the player to attack them and destroy Outpost 25. After returning to his transmitter project on day 2873, the stranger manages to visit our world for 30 seconds and noticed how the world has changed in the meantime. The stranger watches soldiers operate on equipment he has gathered in the Dark Aether and knows how to operate it, now making him return to his project. Sadly, hunger strikes and his vegetation yield had poor results. The stranger started subsisting on the creatures in the Dark Aether and didn't seem to mind the taste. On day 3789, the stranger returns with a diary talking about the hellhounds and finding an injured one. He named his hellhound Cinder and they start bonding. They hunt and protect each other, and Cinder keeps the fort where they live warm at all times. On day 4100, the stranger finds something and learns of a powerful foe. Day 4100. Found one of the big ones dead today. Had the impression they left each other alone, but it was clear from wounds they fight among themselves. There's talk here that one of the overlords is hunting the rest. Sounded like crazy talk, especially because some now worship the giants. But I have seen enough to believe it. If one of the giants is imposing its will on the rest, I shudder to think what new order may emerge. It is terrifying to think that a brute and powerful force like the Orda is being hunted by something even bigger and greater. These overlords are hunting the Elder Gods with the goal of creating a new order. On day 6121, the stranger finds some kind of beverage machine but doesn't know what to do with it. Day 6121. New devices turning up. Machines filled with beverages. At first, distrusted them. Seemed like a trap. waiting for others to consume what they had to offer. Results: beverages not only safe to consume, but have profound effects, useful for combat. Machines even play music while dispensing. Not sure if someone is trying to help or just messing with my mind. Now, the real question is, who is bringing these perk machines since they suddenly started to appear? Is it Monty, Shadowman, or something else? What do you guys think? Who is bringing in these machines? Day 6157. Found red beverage machine a few days ago. Badly damaged. Inner workings broken and exposed. Took it to my workshop. Tried to fix. I think I understand the design, but some parts beyond repair. Will have to scavenge from other such device. Would lift my spirits greatly to master this mechanism. The stranger started a repair on the beverage machine that's all broken up. Seems like to me he started to work on the Wonderfish machine. We can figure this out since the machine is all torn up and damaged. Since if we look at the Wonderfish machine in Die Machine, we can see that it has a lot of components from other perk machines, which the stranger probably scavenged together in his time in the Dark Aether. Not only did the stranger find a broken perk machine, he also found a Pack-a-Punch. Day 6289. Found another device today. A kind I have not seen before. Like my drink machine, this one is too damaged to function, and it is definitely not for drinks. Disassembling it in my workshop now. Best guess, it's something like a kiln or a crucible. Excited by the possibilities. Have applied everything learned from repairing drink machine, but still cannot fix, considering looking for help. The stranger found a broken down Pack-a-Punch machine and started the repairs on it. But it seems that he needed some help and parts to repair the machine to its former glory. The stranger has dubbed this machine now The Forge, a machine to help survivors in their fight against the monsters in the Dark Aether. Together, paired with the repaired Wonderfish machine, the survivors now have a chance at survival with the help of a perk cans and the upgraded weapons. But before he could help out, he found a traitor. Day 6412. Ever since my success with the drink machine and crucible, I have collected more and more machinery and electronics. Now confident I can complete transmitter project. Have seen enough such devices on my brief excursions home. I know the components and how they should work together. Acquired some parts from another man stranded here. He gave us items for trade. Told him about machines I repaired and he asked to see them. Perhaps I found a kindred spirit. 4 days later, the trader returned to the stranger with his friends. They wanted to steal the Wonderfish machine and the Force to use for themselves. Cinder came to the aid of the stranger, but blew up, leaving the stranger alone again. 2 days later, the stranger decided to return to the trader. Day 6418. Decided to visit trader, even after what he did. I had to try to make peace. He is still human after all. His friends were there. They laughed when I asked for truce. I only wanted to talk, but they were not interested in words. I killed them all. Not proud. Life is rare and precious here. Mine most of all. I know there is still good in humanity, but the longer I am here, the less I remember what it is. The stranger thinks he is losing his humanity because he just killed some survivors. Day 6421. I must be honest with myself. I knew there will be no truce with those men. I knew it would end in bloodshed. They stole my crucible, but they did not understand what it was. Too bad for them. I had already used it on my own weapon. 5 men, and I still outgunned them. 5 human lives. Too easy. Why don't I feel worse about killing them? Is my humanity slipping away? Will I end up just another beast prowling this land? The stranger used the forge beforehand on his own gun and was able to be the winner, since the trader's gang did not know how to upgrade. The trader, after killing many creatures for over 6,000 days, had accumulated enough essence to upgrade in his forge something. We do not read in his diary this, but we can figure it out. After countless battles he had, this is why the denizens of the Dark Aether to not attack him anymore. He is higher up the food chain than them and far more dangerous to attack. On day 6457, the stranger starts to see some hope. Day 6457, finally starting to shake off dark thoughts. Cannot allow myself to sink into savagery. This land will not break me. Technology is the key. I am only alive because I rebuilt that crucible. Must keep working. Must keep building. I will return to my transmitter project. Someone will answer my calls, and I will warn the world of the threat it faces from this place of darkness. With the strength to rebuild what he once lost, he decides to start working on the transmitter again, with the will to survive and praying someone actually out there will get his message. And then, more than 6,000 days later, it finally happened. The transmitter is done and is being sent to where it all started. Project End Station. At this time, Strike Team is fighting inside the facility to shut down the particle reactor to destroy the facility. By doing trials along the way, they learn of the stranger and he gets to know them. See, the trial machine is a transmitter he was working on for almost 7,000 days. It finally being done and ready to be used, the stranger uses his transmitter to talk to Strike Team and use the rifts in between the Dark Aether to send them the Forge and the Perk machines, helping in the aid for survival. After the events of Firebase C, Strike Team gets sent to the Ural Mountains to investigate an outbreak of sorts. This is where the stranger finally manages to reach his voice from the Dark Aether to our player.
Hello? Are you receiving? Is anybody out there? Testing. My readings indicate contact is established. I can only hope it is you on the other end. My comrade in arms. My friend. I hope my voice is not a disappointment. I do not know what you imagined I might sound like, but I am no one special. Just a man who wants to help. Yes. As you can tell from my accent, I am Russian. I did not tell you this at first because of the suspicion it would have provoked. Such is the age you grew up in. Such is this Cold War. But there was a time when my people and yours fought side by side against the greatest evil our world ever produced. Now we face something even worse. Perhaps that can bring us all back together. Pistets! The signal is starting to fade. I will work on this problem and contact you later. Do not give up on me. I will not give up on you.
Being almost cracked and working, the stranger starts recording more messages for our player to help her out in the quest for survival by telling us about the new enemies we fight inside of the outbreak.
Hello, it is me again. Your friend on the other side. Are you enjoying the beautiful Ural Mountains? No? Believe me, I understand. It is hard to love a place that is always trying to kill you. By now, you have probably met some new enemies. The electric men that float in midair. The armored monsters that leap and throw fire. I do my best to steer clear of them here, but avoiding conflict is not a luxury you can afford. I have managed to kill a few of the floaters, but it is never easy. The cowards jump away when injured, and they can strike from afar. The armored ones, on the other hand, they jump at you when provoked. They were once Soviet fighters who came here looking for crystals. And they paid with their lives. They are vicious and hard to put down. hit them with everything you have. Such beasts must not be allowed to walk the earth.
We finally know who the stranger is.
We have been through the fire together. You won my respect and my trust. So it is only right I tell you who I am. My name is Kazimir Zykov. I was a sergeant in the Soviet First Guard Tank Army. Long, long ago. We were in Poland, driving the Nazi scum back to Berlin. That is how I ended up where this all began. We found Project In Station almost by accident. And you know what waited in that place. When Moscow sent a Czechist to bury the problem, it fell to me to do the digging. I will tell you the whole story one day. But what matters now is that, just like you, I accepted a mission no one must ever learn of, knowing it would probably get me killed. And, like me, you shoulder your duty without complaining. So let us help each other complete this mission. We can survive this. Together.
His name is Kazimir Zykov, a character who was already being teased with at the beginning of Cold War Zombies. We saw him in the intro cutscene. He was the soldier with the gas mask being shot in the bunker after shaking hands with a Russian general. Also, 2 intel reports at the beginning of the machine were written by Zykov. These were an explanation and before the devil arrives. Zykov talks to us about his former job, explaining how he was able to recreate the Wonder Fist machine and rebuild the Pack-a-Punch machine.
Back in the Great Patriotic War, mine was among the Red Army units that crippled the Nazi war machine on the Eastern Front. Then we chased the bastards out of the motherland and across Europe. I was a mechanic. I kept our tanks running. No easy task when every day we advanced and getting new parts from Moscow was almost impossible. So, I took parts from the Tigers and Panzers we destroyed, adapting them for our T-34s. I got very familiar with German machinery. This would prove to be my downfall. Colonel named Lazarev, from what you now call KGB, was sent to contain the evil we uncovered at N Station. He ordered me to go in there alone, because I had the best chance of understanding and shutting down that infernal machine. And then Lazarev ordered me sealed inside. I understood what was asked of me. I would never see my wife and daughter again. Still, I saluted, and I did my best. This was for my family, my country, for a better future. Even now, if asked again, I would still say yes.
To know how all of this started, we get one final intel radio transmission from Zykov.
So, you are wondering how a tank mechanic from the war survived for decades, trapped in, what do you call it, the dark ether. I often ask myself the same thing. The answers are many. Some I have already given you in my journal. The fort I built, the weapons I found, the machines I restored, and of course, my dog, Cinder. but mostly I was lucky. The rest is because I am Russian. It is in our nature to endure. But I never lost my desire to escape, to come home, to learn what became of my family. As you saw in my journal, I have been able to visit for brief periods, almost like a ghost. But always I am pulled back here. I do not know why I am tethered to this place. I see your people cross back and forth freely, and I burn with envy. There must be a way for me to one day do the same. For now, I will share more of my journal with you. There are things in it you should know, for both our sakes.
Psychov is stuck in the dark ether, as he is tethered to the place itself and is jealous of seeing us go in and out of the dark ether at will. Psychov wants to escape this hell he is in, but he shares some more intel about the first days after he entered Project End Station. Day 1. Sergeant Casimir Psychov, 1st Guards, Tank Army. I am separated from my unit and do not know if I can ever rejoin them. I will maintain this written report of what would happen to me in case I do not survive. I was ordered to deactivate experimental machine at the German science installation, Project End Station in Poland. The device had opened the gateway to another world, a place of darkness. After several attempts, I realized I could only close this breach from the other side. I completed the mission, cutting myself off from everything and everyone I have ever known. This is truly a hostile place. Unless I can find food and shelter, my prospects look bleak. Day 3. This place is like a living nightmare. It almost seems thrown together from many different points in history. There are items here that appear ancient, alongside mechanisms that look like they came from the future. It is madness. Many horrors prowl this land. Some are like the creatures I fought at End Station, but others are far worse. So far, I've managed to hide and conserve ammunition. But for how long? I glimpsed another human soul today, but they ran away when they saw me. I swear, it was not just another walking corpse. Sadly, I could not find them again. Fear is my only companion now. Day 7. It is finally beginning to sink in. I will never leave this place. No one is coming for me. I will live out whatever is left of my life in miserable, soul-crushing darkness. What have I done? Why did I throw my life away like this? Because I was foolish enough to believe in our common cause? Or was I just a convenient pawn for the Soviet Union to sacrifice? That bastard Colonel Lazarev. He knew I would accept this suicide mission. What choice did I have? He made it seem like an act of heroism, but I am no hero. Just a lamb to the slaughter. For one brief moment, I felt noble. Now, I have lost nearly everything. All I have left is rage. Season 3 just started a few days ago. We will already know more of Psychov and why he helps us. It's gonna be interesting to see if Psychov is gonna be truly our ally, foe, or something else. We don't know yet if we can fully trust him, but we do know that he is helping us with ways like the perk machines, sending him in and out of the dark ether, the forge, but also from this radio from Dr. Gray, a lot more.
So, I've been thinking a bit about the beacon. You know, the thing we've been casually using to move between different areas of the outbreak zone. Well, we don't know what it is, or who built it. Same goes for the funny little vending machines. We think they're safe. Certainly no one's lost anything while using them, but they are something of a peculiarity. They appear to have been cobbled together from machine parts pulled from different time periods in our world. A bit of this from the 50s, a dash of that from the 60s, a sprinkle of something from the 80s. You get the idea. It just doesn't really make sense them being here. Now, I've got a theory, and it is only a theory, that someone, or something in the Dark Aether has sent them here to help us. Not sure. It's definitely something to look into.
Psychov is an important character for the zombie storyline, since he basically is our Dr. Monty, who sends us perks, pack-a-punch, crates, dragon modules and the beacons to travel through the Ural Mountains. We do not know yet what Psychos' final plan is, but with the power that he has and the impact he does on the player and the Dark Aether with his machines and upgrades, we know that we will 100% see more of him later on, may he be good or bad. Just know, it's going to be a wild ride with this guy, whatever he may do in the future. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And without further ado, this is your boy Nusuma Flamer, signing off. Have a great day.